I've always been very interested in the resume space and looking for jobs ever since college. Um, I was never the straight A student back in college, so my thought was if I can't compete on academics and my grades, I would have the best work experience out of anybody in college so I can get a better job. So by the time I graduated college, I've already had around 10 different job experiences from various internships and so on. So I worked on my resume a lot and I already had so many versions of my resume by the time I graduated college. So it's always been an interest of mine and something I've worked on a long time ago. And of course, recently, when my first company didn't work out, I continued to look for a job. And that's when this time it dawned on me about the applicant tracking system and how I need to tailor my resume keywords to fit the job. And so it's just something that I've always really passionate about, finding the best job I could find. And in a way, I became kind of an expert in this area for my own needs. I think the rise of being able to work remote, some companies are opening up their positions to other geographic areas. So competition might step up a bit in terms of the talent pool. For JobScan, we're opening up our talent pool as well to different geographic areas. Now we can do remote versus before we only wanted to hire in Seattle, but now we're opening it up to pretty much all 50 states and perhaps even international too. So I would say from a job seeker's perspective, definitely need to make sure your resume is optimized and you stand out from the crowd. And in addition to that, just work even harder in terms of making contacts, and don't be afraid to reach out to recruiters. Don't be afraid to reach out to your network. You can do everything online. You don't have to meet new people and meet new faces. But you have existing contacts that you knew from the past, and get in touch, put those connections, hop on Zoom calls to catch up with friends. And that's what I even do as well, and catch up with friends every so often, every week actually would be very helpful. People that you don't really talk to on a typical basis, but it's always good to catch up. With 2021, it's not too different in terms of how companies recruit from the past, from a more of a digital perspective, right? Like aside from, everybody's still online, even before pre-COVID, recruiters are sourcing on LinkedIn, they're looking at applicant tracking systems, they're posting their jobs online, where everything's already going digital, everything's already online. So that part has not changed too much, right? Even from a job scan perspective, that's mostly the same. And so, more companies are using the ATS, right? And more companies are looking for ways to automate the recruiting process, the sourcing process. So as job seekers, we also need to be at the same level and catch up and understand what companies are doing to be able to have that competitive advantage against other job seekers. Otherwise, there's no other way, right? Because everybody's doing the same thing. You have to be on that same level. The macroeconomic trends or macro trends going on in the world as it relates to careers, I would be more focused on, tapping into what people are caring about at that point in time, right? Ride that wave. It's New Year. Let's talk about the New Year and what of the things are changing this year instead of last year. And I would stay away from politics. Of course, politics has been pretty hot topics lately, but as politics go, just kind of a never-ending black hole, and arguing online is not productive. So even on LinkedIn, I would stay away from things that are not really related to careers, right? And the second thing I think would be important to share, a very interesting thing to share, which I do a lot of times, is my learnings. What have I learned in 2020? Like, what have I learned from my job search experience? Right? What have I learned from various things? People love to learn from others, and people want to just get value real quick and take that away, right? Take it away in terms of like just learning it from others. So sharing lessons learned has always been my kind of a favorite topic of mine, favorite angle of mine. So this is a very quick and kind of a quick way of skimming through profiles and resumes. In general, a lot of recruiters have said the same thing, is we look at job title and companies first. And so having been at companies that are interesting or relevant or reputable definitely adds that extra quick validation. And then the job title, of course. But aside from that, the experiences, and we'll definitely skim through the what kind of experiences they've done in the past. A few bullet points with numbers that are quantifiable, something that I prefer to see. Something specific, right? Or any major projects, major initiatives that might be well known that's worth mentioning. And yeah, that's it. I mean, the other ones are, how long a person's been at the job, right? If it's just a few months here, a few months there, it's kind of a flag. But but you can explain why in the description as well if you've been having only a few months at a job. So yeah, so that's the majority.